So if I look at 2020, I would describe it as one word, Spain, of course, without the S in it. And that's Spain, right? I'd like to know if all of you get the opportunity to describe 2020 in one word, what would you describe it as? Kamlesh?
I think it's resilience.
Resilience. Okay. Alok?
It's a blank.
Blank. Yeah, that's a good one. Roof?
Long vacation.
Okay. Stress? Stress, Srinivas?
New beginnings.
New beginnings. Okay. 2020 was new beginnings. Okay. You had a good 2020 then. Okay. So I'd like to take just, a couple of seconds to rewind. I think, it's 2020 has been extremely tough for a lot of people. Personally speaking, I've lost 2 jobs, got ridiculously close to, ending things for myself, faced a lot of things. I think we've all seen challenges, right? We've seen financial challenges, we've seen mental challenges, we've had to adapt to staying at home. So what I really want to do here is for all of us to, address that 2020 is finally over, and then move on to what's today, that is 2021 and the 1st of January. So one thing I have personally taken is that, and as our very own Sureka ma'am always tells me, is that there can be 100 things that go around you that go wrong. People have faced a number of challenges, but if there's one thing that we can all learn from the past year, is that we have to build our emotional resilience. We have to stop letting anything external decide what we feel and who we are within ourselves. Do we all agree? Thumbs up if you all agree. Perfect. And I'd also like to take this moment to really be grateful to Toastmasters, because quite literally, Toastmasters is the only thing that went well for me in the last year. It's quite literally the only reason that I'm alive today. And it's all because of this wonderful organization and this, all the people that I'm currently looking at on the screen. So thank you to each one of you. And I'm really extremely grateful. So when we move on to 2021, let's take a pledge to first ourselves, right? Can we all raise our hands? Right? As the Toastmasters fraternity, let's take a pledge to ourselves to be our best companion and stand by ourselves no matter what. And as a community of supporting each other, let us be there for each other through thick and thin. Do we all agree to do the same? Please unmute and say
Yes.
Agree.
Yes.
awesome.
Yes.
Please take a round of applause for everyone. And congratulations everyone for making it through 2020. And welcome 2021 with a bang. All right. So good evening. Very, very happy new year. I hope it goes wonderfully well to everyone. Stay happy and stay blessed. With that, let me introduce the 3 rules for our meeting today. We do not talk about sex, politics, and religion. Try to keep your videos on and try to ensure that you are muted when you're not speaking. Now, like we see, every organization, every meeting has a leader. And I've been given the job to introduce this leader. This time around, I had a slightly different experience with this leader. I mean, he was always this person who's very down to earth. I've known him from a long time. I've seen him, take on various responsibilities. But it was a shock, when we had the first committee meeting, right? That's when I saw a new face of this particular leader. Suddenly, the very mellow, down-to-earth person had become the leader, that we actually see in our various organizations. He was crisp, to the point, and he exactly knew what to say to everybody. So as I'm going through this journey, I'm discovering so many things in this person, and I look forward to learn so much more in my role and in this year to come. With that, let me introduce the president of our club, Toastmaster Ayappa Ponnachandra. Over to you, Ayappa.
Thank you, Shabri.
My dear fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests, a very good evening. Once again, I wish you all a very happy New Year 2021. Welcome you all to this wonderful evening at Bangalore Toastmasters Club. With that note, I declare the meeting number 1252 open. I request our secretary, Toastmaster Kamlesh Kumar, to present the minutes of the last meeting. Toastmaster Kamlesh, please.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Wish you very happy New Year 2021. Last meeting happened on the Christmas, and the president enlightened us with a wonderful thought on Christmas. He mentioned that in every festival, he slandered one bad habit, and he urged us that we should follow this principle to make our life happy. The best rule taker, the Toastmaster of the day, Sujata, started the proceeding of the meeting by singing Jingle Bell song, and that made the meeting into the festive mood. The best speaker of the evening, Rajesh Nukul, delivered thoughtful speech on climatic implication of data usage, and he sensitized us that watching 30 minutes of Netflix emits 1.5 kg of CO2 into the atmosphere. The best table topic speakers were Toastmaster Surekha and Shreyas, and she beautifully talked about her favorite holiday dessert, which is none other than sipping coconut water in the beach and drawing pearls of wisdom. And Shreyas took us through the every moment is a new beginning. The best evaluator of the evening was DTM Rajdeep Manmani, and he evaluated the speech of Dhruv with highlighting the strength of the speech into three parts: message, anecdote, and the message and the anecdote. And he also recommended for the improvement into the structure of the speech. And the last, the best tag player, Ranjana, enlightened us with the listening skill. In the last minutes of the meeting, there was a 2 amendment which has been taken care of. Thank you, and over to the president.
Thank you, Toastmaster Kamlesh. Dear members, can we pass the minutes past? Looks like there are no amendments. With that note, I declare the minutes of the last meeting passed. Did you guys notice one surprise in today's meeting? Anyone?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
The secretary read the minutes in detail as compared to earlier.
Other than that, sir, I'm not finding any guests in today's meeting. It looks like all are members.
Because I'll be one of the speakers.
Okay.
Thanks for smiling, laughing and all.
Okay. So today being the first day of the year, many of us want to do something better, something different. But for some of us, the past baggage is so heavy that we find very difficult to move forward. We try for next couple of days, but things doesn't seem to be working and we go back to the shell again. If you ask me how I deal with these problems, the problems and difficulties are part and parcel of our life. I accept those situations as is. While accepting those situations, it gives me a ray of hope. In turn, this ray of hope gives me the determination to move forward in my life. I hope many of us here have faith in God here, and we go to temples or your places of worship. Yes? No?
Yes.
Yes. When the priest gives us the holy water, we take it in our palm and sip it and rub it over our head. So we don't test the authenticity of the water or how the water is. No, absolutely not. We just accept it as it is. Life is simple as that. Once we are good in accepting our past, it helps us to put 100% to whatever we're doing. When you put 100% to a work, it gives us satisfaction, immaterial of the result. Let me give a small technique, what I follow every day. What I do is before going to bed, I think about some good funny story and make myself smile. Also, again, while getting up from the bed in the morning, I think about something positive and smile myself, just still lying on the bed. I'll stay in the bed for five more minutes and then I get up. This boosts up my positive energy and determination for the rest of the day. It is helping me. Hope it may help you as well. Now, even in Toastmasters journey is a marathon. It requires determination to stay in the race. So take up every role in Toastmasters with joy and pride and with a sense of responsibility, with a sense of possibility. This will give you the determination, courage to stay in the Toastmasters fraternity for a longer time, because it is not a sprint race. It's a marathon. You require a lot of energy. Always we have to keep it in mind that becoming a competent communicator or a leader is a gradual phenomenon or a gradual process. And that's why we say the Toastmaster place where leaders are made. It is not instantaneous. To take the meeting further, we have a gentleman amongst us. He is into sales, working with British Telecom. He has been at Bangalore Toastmasters for the last 3+ years. Attempting any table topics is like a cakewalk for him. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands to welcome on stage the MC of this evening, Toastmaster Alok Simha.
Eldrigu namaskara.
Namaskara.
Thanks a lot, Ayappa, for the introduction. 2019 was such an eventful year, wasn't it? Mr. Modi won the election again. India went to the semi-finals of the World Cup in 2019. And I myself spent the last week of 2019 in Rajasthan, visiting Jaipur, Jodhpur, Chittorgarh, and a host of other places. It was truly an eventful year. I woke up this morning and I realized it was 2021. I sent a few people who had wished me a happy new year, and then I realized that I was the Toastmaster of the day today. So I thought I should establish a rapport with our newly elected president, Ayappa. I sent a message to him. I said, Ayappa, congratulations on being newly elected as the president of BTMC. And I received an angry message. It said, Alok, where are you? I am not a newly elected president. I was the president last term and I'll continue to be the president this term. So I'm not newly elected by any stretch of imagination. I was confused. So in moments like these, I go back to a go-to person of mine within BTMC, who is Abhay Kothari. So I texted Abhay Kothari, Abhay, what is happening? The last I knew, Vivek Vijayan was the president, and now suddenly Ayappa is the president, and he's saying he's the president for the second term. I mean, when was he the president? Then he said, Abhay said, Alok, Ayappa was the president between July and December 2020. 2020? When did this thing happen? So I quickly kept my mobile aside. I went back to my mother. I said, Amma, people are talking about this year called 2020. When was this year? My mother looked at me with a bewildered face for a moment. She then said, Alok, please learn to act your age. You're 32 now. I mean, who is going to give their daughter to you? I was confused all over again. I mean, in 2019, I was 30. Now people are already saying I'm 32. Where did my year 31 go? And then slowly, when I went back to Abhay and checked with him, I realized Abhay Ayappa had been the president for July 2020 to December 2020. I also realized that I have to sadly consider 2020 as a year, as a part of my life. I mean, how is that even possible? There was no movies, there was no social gatherings, there was no travel, there was no appraisal, there was no hike. And finally, there was no physical BTMC meeting either. How can we even consider 2020 as a year? And then I realized that there is no other go. We have to consider that as a part. And as I spoke to Abhay earlier this afternoon, I realized with how much determination Ayappa and his team led us in the previous term between July and December 2020. And then memories, however faint, started coming back to me. And on a serious note, guys, I really believe the last term was one of the most difficult terms to lead a club like BTMC because of the challenges that we faced, obviously. But this committee, they took the challenges that we had, they took the challenges that this medium offered and converted them to opportunities. The number of guest speakers that we had, the number of members we had from different clubs joining us, and the education sessions that we had, they definitely took our meetings to a different level altogether. And the committee, they seem to have so much fun and so much determination in waking up every day and planning these meetings that they seem entirely satisfied with the effort that they're put towards the end. And they seem so satisfied that they decided all over again to come back and lead us for a second term. So almost the entire committee is with us again this term, leading us for a second term and taking up this challenge again to lead us successfully in the second term. And hopefully, Ayappa, I really wish for you and the committee that we have a physical meeting at some point during this term as well. But congratulations to you and the committee for having a successful term, and wish you all the best for a new term.
Thank you, Alok. Thank you.
With that, for the guests and the new members amongst us here who are joining us for one of the first times, the Toastmasters movement was founded in 1924 in Santa Ana, California by Ralph C. Smedley. And if he started, I'm sure, the movement itself with a lot of determination. And if he's watching us from above, he would definitely be satisfied with the progress that Toastmasters has made over the years in almost about a century. We now have about 357,000 members and clubs numbering up to 16,600 in 143 countries. A typical Toastmasters meeting has 3 parts. The first part is the prepared speech part, where the members have prepared a speech in line with the curriculum that they have chosen, the track that they've chosen within Toastmasters, and present it in this time span of about 5 to 7 minutes. The second part is more the entertainment part, if I might say, where there is table topics, an impromptu session where the speakers get to speak on a topic which is thrown at them by the table topics master for 1 to 2 minutes, which is the time limit for that session. And the third session, which I would call the enlightenment session, is the general evaluation session, where a general evaluator is going to take a bird's eye view of the entire meeting, aided by his set of evaluators and the tag team, and then going to give us a summary of how the meeting went and what are the areas where we could improve. And to lead this general evaluation session today, we have a distinguished Toastmaster who has won accolades for himself at the club, area, division, and district levels over the years. And if there was one sentence to describe how I find his prepared speeches or evaluations or even table topics for that matter, it is education. Listening to him is education. It's no wonder that he gets invited in different parts of Bangalore as an educational speaker. I take a lot of pleasure in welcoming the general evaluator for today, distinguished Toastmaster Rajdeep Manwani.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Alok, for that wonderful introduction. Today, my role as a general evaluator is not to be like the Toastmaster of the day, have a short-term memory loss or a 6-month memory loss. I have to keep track of every single thing which happens during the meeting not only a bird's eye view, but also a worm's eye view to see how the meeting progresses and give a constructive feedback at the end of the session. To aid me in my role, I have 4 very, very competent Toastmasters. First, I have George, who is a technocrat, an individual who's very curious about technology and is very, very eager to make new friends. So George will be playing the role of the timekeeper. George, can you explain your role?
Yeah, thank you, sir. So time is such a precious commodity. It's even more valuable than money. If we don't have time, we don't have money to use or spend. Fellow Toastmasters, guests and friends. As a timer, my role is to remind all speakers and all the role takers how much time they took so that we will run this meeting on time. So coming to the prepared speeches, the first speech is on Icebreaker, where the time varies from 4 to 6 minutes. At the time of 4th minute, I will flash the green card. At the time of 5th minute, I will flash yellow card. And at the end of 6th minute, I'll flash the red card. For the second and third topic, the time of speech varies from 5 to 7 minutes. So for both the speeches, I will raise the green card at 5th minute. And at the 6th minute, I will flash yellow card. And at the 7th minute, I will flash red card. And for the fourth speech, the time varies from 3 to 4 minutes. So that I will raise the green card at the point of 3rd minute, and 3 minutes 30 seconds, I will raise the yellow card. And at 4th minute, I will raise the red card. In regard to table topics, the time assigned is 1 minute 30 seconds. So at the point of 1 minute, I will raise green card, 1 minute 15 seconds.
George, your screen is frozen. You there?
George has got lost in time, so we'll have the...
I will raise the yellow card and 1 card.
That was... Okay, thank you so much, George. He got frozen in time, but we have the second Toastmaster who's going to help me in my evaluation. He's an individual who epitomizes the second part of the theme for today. It was wake up with determination, sleep with satisfaction, and he loves to sleep during the day. So without much ado, let me call the R counter of the day, Dhruv Goyal.
Yeah, good evening, Toastmasters and my dear guests. The purpose of the R counter is to note words and sounds that are used as crutch or as pause filler during the meeting. I will also listen to overused words such as etc. At the end of the meeting, I will present my report to the general evaluator. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Dhruv. The third Toastmaster who's going to help me in this evaluation journey is an individual who is a person who loves self-help. He's doing his CA intermediate. He's also working. A very, very enthusiastic Toastmaster, Rajanna, who will be playing the role of grammarian.
Thank you, sir. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. As a grammarian, it is my responsibility to pay close attention to all the speakers, their language usage, and I will also take down like the outstanding words, quotes, the phrases they use. And as a grammarian, it is my responsibility to introduce the word of the day. The word of the day for the meeting is assiduous, which means showing great care and perseverance. An example of using this word would be, she was assiduous in pointing out every feature. So I recommend all the speakers to use this word, and I will be noting down that as well. So I will give my grammarian report when called upon during the meeting. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Rajana. And last but not the least, we have a software programmer, a coder, a decoder. And today he's going to code the meeting by listening and then decode it by asking you all questions at the end. please welcome Akhilesh, who will be the listener for the day. Can you explain your role, Akhilesh?
Thank you. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. It is the beginning of New Year, and we all set new goals and resolutions. One of the ways to achieve these goals is to commit ourselves to an habit. In Toastmasters, one simple habit we can all commit to improve our communication skills is to listen carefully to all the wonderful speeches of our fellow Toastmasters. As a listener today, I will listen to all the speeches carefully, and I request all of you to pay close attention to these speeches as well. And I will ask some surprising questions towards the end of the meeting. Thank you, and back to you, DTM Rajdeep sir.
Thank you so much, Akhilesh. So I will be back with you all towards the end of the meeting with my evaluation. Now I hand it back to the Toastmaster of the day, Alok.
Thanks a lot, Toastmaster Rajdeep. We'll look forward to your feedback in the last segment of this particular meeting. With that, we'll start off with the first segment of today's meeting, the prepared speech session. The first speech is being evaluated today by a Toastmaster whom I would say is an explosive orator. Be it any role, right from the tag team to evaluation or to a prepared speech or table topics, he is right up there with his energy. I'd now request Toastmaster CM Manjunath to please lay out the guidelines for the first speech of the day.
Thank you for your kind words right there, Alok. I really appreciate it. Let your hopes, not your hurts, shape your future. Robert Schuller said that. Let 2021 be the one with hope, great health, wealth, and relationships. A very happy new year to everybody. So today's speech, this speaker is attempting his first ever speech. It's an icebreaker speech as a part of the presentation mastery, L1. That's the pathway. And the purpose of this speech, of this project, is to introduce the member to the club and also to understand the basic structure of a speech. Timer, please note the time for this icebreaker speech is 4 to 6 minutes. Thank you for the opportunity. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Alok.
Thanks a lot, Manjunath, for laying out the guidelines. The first speaker, I won't introduce him much. Anyways, he's attempting his icebreaker, but I definitely asked him, what is it that he did in 2020, which he would want to continue doing in 2021? And he had a very profound answer. He said, I had a chance to spend a lot of time with my family in 2020, and I would like to continue doing the same in 2021. For a speech titled 3G, it goes on. Please welcome Toastmaster Raghavendra.
Just audio and video checkup. Can you hear me and see me okay?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Good evening, Toastmasters and dear guests.
Good evening.
The title of my speech today is 3G. Well, as it may sound, it is not third generation of mobile technology. It is about 3 generations of my family. Myself, Raghavendra Mysore Sampath Kumar, I would be happy to introduce you all to 3 generations of my family. The first generation, this is my parents' generation. My dad, Sampath Kumar, and my mom, Saroja Devi, hailing from a middle-class family. And my dad, being a banker, was getting transferred every 4 years. And I was born in Hubli, Karnataka. Then initial schooling years were in Gulbarga, and finally we landed in Bangalore. Looking at the serene beauty of Bangalore and the good-natured people, my dad decided to leave us here and move on to the places he was getting transferred to. This actually meant additional responsibility to my mom and new responsibility to me, being the only son with 1 elder sister and 2 younger sisters. When I was in the class 5, I had to do shopping for provisions, do the bill payments, and go for bank transactions. And my mode of commute was Bangalore Transport Service. In other words, it is bitre tirga sigala. So the responsibility continued even after my dad returned back to Bangalore with the amount of knowledge I had gained all through these years and experience, we could easily conduct the marriage event of my sisters, all three sisters. And now over to the second generation, which is just about myself. Being a perfect example of an average student, I managed to complete, as most Bangaloreans do, Bachelor of Engineering in Computer Science. With a little bit of struggle, I landed a job in IT industry. And with God's grace, I got an opportunity to work in Europe. As a classic middle class dream goes, I managed to build a small house, buy a car. My dad had already bought me a bike, Suzuki Samurai, which was heralded as the no problem bike. Then the marriage happened. I got married to Sheetal. To my surprise, or rather shock, she disliked the bike. That meant all sorts of problem to me. The only thing she liked was the Japanese guy from the TV commercial. So, and since my dad was not around for a very long time, I'd got used to this unilateral decisions where I was making the decision, and my mom used to support me always, as all mothers do, and my sisters supported me too. And after marriage, this was not the case. In the beginning, it was difficult, it was messy in the middle, and it was okay now, and we continue. I do get to decide once in a while what's for the next day's breakfast, and it's a joint operation always. She decides and I comply to it. After all, peace of mind is the most important thing. I understand and I believe most of the married men would agree to this. So in the due course, with the grace of God, we got blessed with a son, Parichit, and I again traveled to Canada. The magnetic effect of India and my dream city, Bangalore, I got again pulled back to Bangalore, and we shifted, relocated back to Bangalore. And again, I got blessed with another baby, Shakshita. Well, all through, we have had a very good time, and there was a good learning in Bangalore and different places we have been. Now, the third generation, which is the millennials, my kids, Parichit and Shakshita, they are like tech savvy, the fast track. They need everything at their disposal immediately. So, which actually means my upbringing and my kids' upbringing was totally different. And I believe definitely the value system which we have given them, once or later, maybe sooner or later, they would definitely take up the responsibility. In the race of the responsibility, probably the baton got passed to me early, and at some point in time, it will get passed to my next generation. I'm probably the only generation, I think I can definitely say this with confidence, who listen to the elders and also to the youngest. And as Robert Frost says, if I have to sum up everything I've learned in life in 3 words, it goes on. Thank you, everyone. Over to you, Toastmaster.
Alok, you're on mute.
Thanks a lot, Toastmaster Raghavendra, for introducing 3 generations of your family to us. We really look forward to listening further from you.
Thank you.
This being the icebreaker, I would request those of you who can to just rise and give the member, the Toastmaster, standing ovation.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations, Raghavendra, on completing your icebreaker. With that, we'll now move on to the second speech of the day. And to evaluate the second speech, like I mentioned earlier, we have my go-to man, Toastmaster Abhay Kotari, who has been a steady member of this club and always pitches in with his own ideas and views to make our experience better. Toastmaster Abhay, over to you to lay out the guidelines for the second speech.
Thank you, Alok. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, fellow Toastmasters and guests. The speaker is attempting the second project in evaluation and feedback. And the purpose statements of this project are for the member to present a speech on any topic, receive feedback and apply the feedback to a second speech. And it is also for the member to demonstrate that he or she has applied the feedback received from the first speech in this project. Over to you. Time
Time manager, please note the time is 5 to 7 minutes. Over to you, Alok. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, Abhay. Our next speaker is versatile. She is a sales professional. She can sing, and she's taken multiple steps to make her presence felt in the leadership roles within Toastmasters and outside as well. Now, when I asked her what is it that she did in 2020 which she would like to take forward in 2021 and continue doing, she said, I found myself giving myself a lot of time in 2020, and I want to continue doing the same, which means give her a lot of time to herself. That is what she wants to continue doing in 2021. For a speech titled Isha Vasyam, please welcome Toastmaster Varsha.
Good evening, Toastmasters. Am I audible and visible? Can I just see a thumbs up on? Okay, great. Nimitta matram bhava savyasachin. Nimitta matram bhava savyasachin. I always wanted to read a text. I always wanted to read a text that covered every aspect of life. Dharma, artha, kama, moksha. Righteousness, wealth acquisition, lust, liberation. I wanted to read a text where volumes are outbeaten by characterization and morals led to revolution. While I was wondering if I can find every aspect under a single umbrella, there comes a man who hands over a text and says, Yadi hasti tadanyatra yenne hasti natatra kvachit, which translates to say, my child, whatever is in this book is found everywhere outside, and what is not in this book cannot be found anywhere outside. He had said that with such conviction and confidence that it made me read the book. Good evening, Toastmasters and guests. I am referring to a text which is humongous with 1 lakh verses that the country is named after, which is none other than the Mahabharata. And this book was given to me by Vidya Vachaspati Pandit Dhananjay Govindachar. I've had several takeaways, but I will be sharing about 3 to 4 of them due to the time constraints. The very first thing that I learned was to be non-judgmental. That is not to judge. We all make wonderful judges, although we haven't studied or practiced law. While we judge women for every single step that she takes, even to this day, we come across a dynamic character in Mahabharata, Draupadi. She was respected, although she had married 5 men 5,000 years back. It's not that she didn't have problems. It's not that she was not criticized or humiliated, but she was given limelight and respect, not because she married 5 men, but because it was she who empowered these 5 men to win the kingdom. The text always prioritized to put the good over bad. Now, is this even relevant to current day scenario? You guys might have that question. Well, when we keep our eyes open, we see people fighting across the odds in society, even to this day. From Mother Teresa to Malala Yousafzai to Michelle Obama, we have numerous examples. Whenever I see these leaders empowering us, there is one strong quality that I see in all of them. And that brings me down to share the second important takeaway that I had. That it is okay to stand alone, and it is okay to not go with majority as far as I am standing for what is right. Mahabharata war was all about brothers fighting in the quest for kingdom. Pandavas, a very small army of 5 men, go ahead to win over a strong army, strongly empowered army of 101 men, only because they prioritized mental strength over physical strength, and they proceeded with cognitive approach. Even to this day, we take a step back when we want to do something that we love the most or something that's important, because we fear the opinions that we may form with the society. In an overpopulated country like India, while adoption is still a challenge, the text quotes happy families after adoption. The text also brings in cross-regional, religional, cross-national, happy and successful marriages. The text also speaks about scientific advancements like surrogacy and raising babies through test tube concept. 101 kids of Dasharatha were, 101 kids of Dhritarashtra were raised in earthen pots, which is very similar to that of the test tube concept that we come across even to this day. They were advanced, they were holistic, but what about us? Are we? Now, what is it that contributes to the collective good? Now, I was stuck. What was my main or the key takeaway from this text? That is when my Guru Bananjay helped me. Well, he said that, my dear, when you prioritize kindness, when you prioritize humanity over all other aspects, you see collective good all across. That is the most important key takeaway that I learned. Lakhs of lives were lost in the Kurukshetra war. Men who fought in the armies of Kauravas and Pandavas fought without even realizing the objective of war. Aren't we seeing that today? We see innocent lives being taken away at the borders due to the political gimmicks every now and then. Matters that can be resolved within four walls are taken to the war field. That was there then, that is there now. But they were advanced. They did learn from their mistakes. What about us? Well, but on the contrary, when you see a tide which can wipe away the entire city, when you see a small virus which can shatter the world, you'll only realize that you are a dot in the universe. You are a dot before the supernatural power. It's the time for us to proceed with holistic approach, with cognitive thought process, and to prioritize humanity and kindness over all aspects. And that was my key takeaway from Mahabharata, which boils down, for me, to quote, Nimitta matram bhavasavya sachin, which Krishna said to Arjuna, and that clearly indicates or translates to say that you are a mere instrument. Over to you, TOD.
Thanks a lot, Varsha, for sharing that speech with us. Like I said, she is versatile, and today we learned that she is capable of a philosophical discourse as well. Thanks a lot, Varsha, for sharing that speech and making the Mahabharata relevant to us today and sharing some seriously critical insights with us. Moving on, to evaluate the third speech, we have someone who is creative and dynamic. I've had the chance to work with him on a previous committee, and I love the different dimensions he brought to, be it a newsletter or a podcast or even a YouTube video for that matter. Mr. Shreyash Srinivas, Toastmaster Shreyash Srinivas, request you to please spell out the guidelines for the third speech.
Thank you, Alok. A very good first evening to everyone present here. The speaker is attempting the level 2 project 3 of effective coaching. The project is themed Introduction to Mentoring, and the guidelines of the speech are the member must clearly define how the Toastmasters envision mentoring and must also share some aspects of the previous experience as a protege. Timer, please note, the speech length is 5 to 7 minutes, and I wish all the best to the speaker. Over to you, Alok.
Thanks a lot, Shreyas. The next speaker of the day is in many ways the youngest member of our club. His spirit and determination are an inspiration to all of us. And in the recently concluded term, he was awarded the most enthusiastic member, a mentor of our club. When I asked him, what is it that you would want to do in 2021 with lots of drive and determination? he said, I want to kickstart my public speaking journey. I want to give a lot more speeches this year than I've ever done. Ladies and gentlemen, for a speech titled That One Sentence That Shaped My Entire Life, please welcome a stalwart, one of the founding members of our club, Toastmaster Robinson D'Souza. Sir, you're on mute.
Am I audible now?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Alok, for that wonderful introduction. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Bob Proctor had said, a mentor is someone who sees talent and ability within you, than you see in yourself, and helps bring it out of you. It was the final paper of my graduation. On the previous day, I was unable to sleep in the night. I was worried not on account of my next day's examination, but I was worried what I should do from tomorrow onwards, as my college days will be over and I have no job. With great difficulty, I forced myself to sleep. But very early in the morning, I suddenly got up with a jolt, realizing that I had a skill. During the 3 years of my graduation, I had learned shorthand and typewriting. In fact, I had secured ranks for the state in both English and Kannada typewriting. Immediately, I located those education certificates and kept them along with the hall ticket and returned to sleep. In the morning, after writing my final examination, I bade goodbye to my college and proceeded to the employment exchange. The place was Chikmagalur and the year was 1969. During that time, the government had set up employment exchanges in all district headquarters to help people to secure jobs in the government. In the employment exchange, the officials verified my certificates and started smiling. They said that, sir, you have a good chance of securing a job early. They then gave me a letter and requested me to take that letter to the district court where a vacancy of stenographer was available. I literally ran from the employment exchange to the district court. As I entered the district court compound, I noticed one of my primary school mates, John Saldana, loitering there. He recognized me and came rushing to me and said, Robinson, why you have come to your court? What has happened to you? And then I had to explain to him the reason, and he was very happy. I came to know that John Saldana was working as a peon in the court. He then took me to the officials in the court. I handed over the letter given by the employment exchange. The officials read the letter, verified my certificates, and then subjected me a test. And thereafter issued me an appointment order, appointing me as a second-grade stenographer in the local court. On the next day, with that certificate, with the appointment order, I proceeded to the magistrate's court to report for duty. As I reached there, John Saldana was there. He took me to the magistrate and also to the officials. The magistrate was Mr. B.N. Mallikarjuna. He was very happy. He had worked as a lawyer for many years and served as a judge for some. He accepted the joining report and handed over to me a shorthand notebook and said, Mr. D'Souza, shall we start working? I said yes, and he started dictating. He was very fast. I could not follow up what he was saying. Then I requested him, sir, will you slow down? He got angry. Mr. D'Souza, I can't adjust to your speed. You have to adjust to my speed, and continued with the same breakneck speed. I could not follow. Then I requested, sir, will you repeat the last sentence? Then he glared at me, stopped, and asked me to show him the certificate. He went through my certificate and started smiling and said, Mr. D'Souza, you have secured ranks, but you don't know stenography. I then told him, sir, this is my first job. I don't have the experience. I'll pick up within a week, sir. And he slowed down. I was able to pick up that dictation, and within a week, I was able to adjust to his speed. He started appreciating my work, liked me, and started guiding me, and he became a mentor. After 2 months, he called me and said, Mr. D'Souza, if you do law, you can become a master like me. That one sentence, if you do law, you can become a master like me, changed my entire future life. For the first time in my life, one person had set a goal to me. And that day itself, I enrolled for a correspondence course in law and assiduously started working hard to study the law. As Mr. Mallikarjuna was transferred from place to places, he continuously kept in touch with me, writing letters, encouraging me, and inquiring about my progress. In due course, the High Court promoted me and appointed me as stenographer in the High Court in Bangalore. I came to Bangalore and immediately joined a law college. And within 3 years, I became a law graduate, and the government appointed me as a magistrate. After 4 years, the High Court deputed me to the Secretariat, to the Law Department as Under Secretary, where I was promoted as a civil judge. Thereafter, the government absorbed me permanently in the Secretariat service and appointed me as a private secretary to the Law Minister. Within a short time, the post of Law Secretary fell vacant, and you know, Mr. B.N. Mallikarjuna, my mentor, became the Law Secretary. After 2 years, Mr. Mallikarjuna was elevated to the High Court as a judge, and in due course, the government appointed me as the Law Secretary. I happened to occupy the same post and the same chair occupied by Mr. Mallikarjuna, and I retired as the Principal Secretary to the government. The day when Mr. Mallikarjuna said, if you do law, you can become a magistrate like me, I woke up with determination. Today, I go to sleep with satisfaction. To conclude, let me quote the words of John Maxwell, who has said, one of the greatest values of mentors is the ability to see ahead what others cannot see and to help them to navigate a course to their destination. Over to the Toastmaster.
Thanks a lot, sir, for sharing your life experiences with us. I'm sure for some of us younger members who probably were not even born at the time when you first entered your roles, these paint a picture of your times and provide us guidance on how we could conduct ourselves when we enter our first job or get into that get into those times when we make a career-changing decision. Thanks a lot, sir. Thanks a lot for sharing your experiences with us. With that, we move on to the final speech of the day. To evaluate this speech, we have a Toastmaster who is a voracious speaker and has made an impact in the Toastmasters fraternity by taking up various leadership roles. Toastmaster Srinu Babu, request you to please lay out the guidelines for the next speech.
Thank you, Toastmaster Alok, for your kind introduction. Wish you a happy new year to everyone and good evening, rising Toastmasters and brilliant guests. Today, my target speaker attempting level 3 project 1 from Visionary Communication. It's a social speech part 1 from the elective to raise a toast. The purpose of this project is for the member to practice and deliver social speeches in front of the club members. Timer, please note, timing is 3 to 4 minutes. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day, Alok.
Thank you, Srinu Babu. Our next speaker is a budding author. He recently published a book that is titled 24 Life, Love, and Friendship Poems to Read Today. And then I asked him, what is it that he wants to do with drive and determination in 2021? He said he's already writing a fiction book and he wants to complete that in 2021. For a toast, which he says is an appreciation to a member, please welcome Toastmaster Shreyas Johan. Shreyas, I would request you to set the context and then proceed with your toast.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day, Mr. Alok. The project guidelines it's neatly said that to raise a toast in appreciation of a member. I will be raising a toast in appreciating our very own president of our club, Mr. Ayappa Ponachanda Appana. Here's a toast for our very own president, the Bangalore Toastmasters Club President, Mr. Ayappa Ponachanda Appana. Mr. Ayappa Ponachanda Appana has served our club as a Sergeant at Arms, the Vice President Education, the Vice President Membership, the President of our club. Mr. Ayappa Ponachanda Appana, when he was the President of our club, he was in such ease and confidence, helps and mentors me in many of the occasions, boosting my confidence to participate in the international speech contest. His noteworthy cool attitude is so inspiring as to how resiliently he was able to change his life from being shy to blooming into this sharp, bold, yet captivating presence, unfolding himself into this beautiful self-made entrepreneur. Mr. Ayappa Ponachanda Appana has achieved the Advanced Leader Bronze Award, a significant recognition award. His determination to change and let others be the better versions of themselves has led him to be a mentor, a leader to other clubs, including making them win the President's Distinction Club Award recognition. He is the first president of our Bangalore Toastmasters Club to achieve winning 2 elections held virtually, holding such distinctive meetings online, mentoring, guiding. His determination, so confidence, he stylishly rocks the stage every time with that aura, that warmth, this bold voice, captivating audiences with that stories, leaving us all with a smile. A teacher, a software engineer, a father, a brother, Girish, who believes we don't have to be the prisoners of our past. Ladies and gentlemen, our very own president, Mr. Ayappa Ponachanda Appana. Congratulations and cheers.
Thanks a lot, Shreyas. I'm sure President Ayappa is beaming and blushing at the same time. Is he on video? Thanks a lot. I'm also curious to know what's there in the glass. There you go. Ayappa is smiling. He is all smiles. Congratulations, Ayappa, as well. With that, we come to the end of the prepared speech segment for today. Toastmaster Shabri would be sharing the link to vote for the prepared speeches on the WhatsApp group. So members, please feel free to cast your vote for the best prepared speech for today. And the passcode would be 7845. I repeat, the passcode is 7845. Okay, Shabri, I guess you've shared it on the meeting group. You would have to share it on the BTMC group. Yeah, now it's there on the BTMC group as well. Ayappa, would we give a minute to complete this exercise?
You can carry on, Alok. I mean, in the meantime, they'll do it actually, yes.
Sure.
Alok, could you please repeat the code?
Sure. The code is 7845, Amit. Toastmasters, let's move on to the second segment of this meeting, which is the table topics session. And to conduct this particular segment, we have a table topics master who is also a maths teacher, but she could well be a storyteller. There are numerous times when I've listened to her stories and have gone back enthralled and intrigued by those stories. And when I asked her, what is it that you would want to do in 2021 that you started doing in 2020? What is something new that you've started doing in 2020 that you want to continue? She said she has started Carnatic music and would want to continue practicing it in 2021. Dear Toastmasters, please welcome the Table Topics Master of the Day, Toastmasters Smita Roshi.
Thank you, Alok. Thank you so much for that introduction. Good evening, Toastmasters. I would request everyone to unmute for maybe a minute. And I would like to hear a, powerful good evening. Everyone?
Good
evening.
Good
evening.
Good
Thank you.
Good evening.
Yes, please keep it unmuted. I have one question to you, and I'll give you 3 clues. You have to guess whom I'm speaking about. Okay, our table topic session is based on this person. So this person is a unique person, an assiduous person. Anyone? This is the first clue. Very vague, is it? Okay, I'll go for, you can even put your answers in the chat box if you wish to. Okay, the second one. This person is the person you love the most.
It's
Any
me.
guesses?
Robinson, sir.
Rekha ma'am
Robinson.
and Robinson, sir.
Myself here.
It's
me.
Okay, and now you can be sure who it is. The third clue will say it all. The person on which you will look at in a photograph, group photograph.
It's me.
Robinson, sir.
And it is what Teresa, you guessed it right. She guessed it right first. Good. Okay, Toastmasters. So now we'll go into our session. It will be a 1.5 minute session. I mean, each Toastmaster will get 1.5 minutes to speak. Today's session is all about yourself. So I urge everyone to join for the table topic session. Okay. And yeah, before going into it, I have a small suggestion for you. You can use, there are many ways to attempt the table topic session, but you can also use something called the PREP, P-R-E-P way of doing it. That is, as soon as you get the topic, you make a point and reason it out, why you have made the point, spice it up with probably an example, and then come back to the point. That will be one good way of doing your table topic. So here we go. The first topic for today. Are you in love with yourself? And the topic goes to Zareen. Are you here? Zareen?
Yes, I'm here.
Yes. Yes, Zareen.
Are you in love with yourself? Yes, very much. The most important lesson I've learned in life is to love yourself, is to respect yourself. And this came to me when at the age of 20, through an enlightening experience. I was a shy kid from when I was in school, and I other than studies, I didn't excel in anything other much, and I didn't have a great many friends. And my self-esteem was very low. I had a change of circumstances. So all the change at the age of 16 affected me really badly, and it affected my self-esteem to a very low level. And the lack of self-esteem reflected in all areas of my life, especially in my relationships, and even in my marks, I started going down. So everything started going down once my self-esteem took a hit. And it was only in college that one of my friends, who's a mentor to me, told me to love myself, not to give too much importance to others, that the most important person is you, yourself. So I have taken that lesson to heart, and I make it a point to love myself to the fullest. And in this new year, I wish everybody to love themselves to the best. Thank you.
Thank you, Zareen. That was a wonderful speech. I have seen you as a confident person, and uh, you know, sharing your experiences with us really brings us close. Thank you so much. The next topic: when someone says, "I told you so," how will you react? When someone says, "I told you so," how will you react? The topic goes to Ashish. Ashish, are you there?
Yes. Hi, Ashish here, everybody. Good evening. So the topic is when someone says, I told you so. So this is my wife says, I told you so, wash the dishes. And I'll be like, okay, I'll do it. And she comes again after an hour. Have you washed the dishes? I told you so. Do you remember? I'll be like, okay, I'll do it. So these are the things which goes on, and she keeps reminding me. It's a new journey for me right now, where we recently got married in Corona, and yes, so yeah, so these are the things like. Over to you, Toastmaster Smita. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashish. I think that is every household story. So you can look forward to more of those. Okay. The next topic: happy memories. Recall anyone. Happy memories, recall anyone. The topic goes to Alan. Alan Arana.
Hi, thank you for the topic, Smita. Actually, when I think about happy memories, uh, the one memory that I always go back to is the time when there was not much to watch uh, on television. Now we have a lot more options. Now we have Netflix, Amazon, all these things. But when it talks about happy memories, I remember the time that I used to, as a kid, with my elder brother and sister, watch Tom and Jerry. And it really brought, I mean, it brings a smile to my face because there are many programs, but there's one program that actually brings the whole family together. And I think that is Tom and Jerry because across generations, people enjoy that cartoon. It's timeless. Even right now, if I watch it, I never get tired of watching it. I can still remember watching it with my brother and sister and my mom, who will be in the kitchen. You know, sometimes would come and have a peek and have a laugh and go back. And even my dad, who would only watch the news, otherwise will watch it. And it was a program that truly brought the whole family together, which was apart from when we used to eat together as a family. So when I talk about a happy memory and something that truly makes me happy, it's Tom and Jerry. It's not just a happy memory, it's probably the happiest memory. Thanks, Mita.
I just wonder, Alan, who was Tom and who was Jerry in your household? Okay. Over to the next topic. One day or day one. Your choice will be one day or day one. Topic goes to Surekha ma'am.
One day or day one. I would say day one and one day. Why? Because I choose whether the day chooses to rule me or I choose to rule the day. If I choose to rule the day, then I am awakened with hope and drive. But if I choose to allow the day to rule me, then I settle into stagnation and resignation. One side, I operate on the terms of personal leadership, where I take charge and responsibility for my own reactions. And if I allow the day to rule me, Then I settle into victimhood, and I settle into doom and gloom. I focus upon lack, loss, and limitation. I say, I just can't. I don't focus upon the opportunities. I focus only upon the obstacles. And in my mind, in the garden of my mind, there are the weeds and there are the seeds. If I choose to focus upon the opportunities, then I rule the day. And then I can have a beautiful garden of wonderful blossoms. Otherwise, the weeds will grow. And then my life will deteriorate and degenerate into a tragic farce. So it is my choice as to how I choose to rule my life. Friends, let us try to express the highest, the truest expression of ourselves as a human being. Let us live our ultimate potential and manifest our divine destiny. And that is only through the choices that we make. That and only that is our most sacred privilege, the power of choice. Over to Table Topics Master.
What a wonderful insight, Surekha ma'am. In 1.5 minutes, you have given 7-minute speech, I think.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. The next topic, small steps every day can lead to. Small steps every day can lead to. The topic goes to Amit. Amit?
Yeah, Smith, I'm there.
Yeah, can do.
Yeah.
Small steps every day can lead to.
The sad year 2020 has been was an additional added a bit of additional sadness into my life in the form that during June I almost had a slip disc kind of an incident because of improper posture and working from home for long hours, and it was not a serious thing, but at least a slight strain on my back, for which I had to be bedridden for almost 10 to 15 days. And being the sports enthusiast and the fitness freak that I had been in my previous life, this incident came as a startling one that shook me and woke me up from a deep slumber of um, unfitness that I was, if I could use the term. So that is when I had to take a lot of physiotherapy and recover from this bad state of mind. And the doctor advised me that simple steps every day that I take will make the biggest difference in getting healed soon. So till that day, on to this very day, there has not been a single day I have missed doing a physical activity, from a very small step such as just walking to right now being able to play professional cricket, almost club level cricket, and also going hitting the gym. So this has been the transformation for me, who as a person who 6 months ago was bedridden for 15 days due to back ailment, and to the person that I am today, a lot more active, confident, much more energetic on the field, and being stepping towards getting into the best shape of my life. So this simple steps of every day has led me to even hitting the gym and lifting heavy weights. So this is the power of simple steps that I can put into my own example from this past 6 months. Over to you, Smita.
Wow, you related to the topic very well, and I could relate to you because I had gone through almost similar incident. So, Toastmasters, that's it. You have to keep yourself fit. And as we are hitting to 2021, where definitely all of us. Our next topic. Excuse me. When was the last time you tried something new? When was the last time you tried something new? The topic goes to Vijay Kalkundri. Vijay?
Yes, ma'am. Madam Topic Master, fellow Toastmasters, and my dear friends. So, firstly, a very happy new year So as we step into this new year, like it's all about resolutions and the new goals, what we want to achieve. But I decided that I'm going to try something new a week before the actual new year. Like say, why wait for the new year and give it a shot? So this lockdown had brought in a lot of slumber and laziness in me, and that's when I decided that from the last week I'm going to do something, two new things. So the first thing is, no matter what, in the morning, as soon as I get and I complete my daily course, I want to hit the track, like wherever I can run, I can walk, whatever thing, but like 45 minutes, no matter what, I do it. The second thing what I did was I thought like every day 30 minutes, no matter what, I'm going to read a book. Like 30 minutes of a day is going to be earmarked for that. And now, how do I measure it? So I started using an app called Strides, which is going to remind me before I hit my bed. So have you done your goal or not? So once it reminds me, and if I have not done, I'm going to wake up and I'm going to ensure that I go out and complete my walk or I read my book. So this way, this is a new initiative that I took a week before this new year. And I think like I'm going to hit. So because any goals or a mission that you want to achieve, if there is no measure of it, we lose a track of it over a period of time. And these apps or like some kind of a measure, or like how you quantify how where you're progressing in that particular direction, is what I have started off last week. And I'm sure like all of you would have something similar in your life. With that, thank you, ma'am, for that great topic, and back to you.
Thank you, Vijay. So my takeaway from this is exercise for body and exercise for mind makes you a champion. Thank you. The next topic. Do you think crying is a sign of weakness or strength? What is your opinion? Crying is a sign of weakness or strength? The topic goes to Kirtana. Kirtana, are you there? Kirtana? Nazneen? I think I'll move on to Nazneen.
Yes, I'm there.
Yeah.
Could you
Nazneen.
just repeat the topic, ma'am?
Crying is a sign of weakness or strength. What is your call on it?
First of all, good evening to one and all, and a happy new year. Crying is a sign of weakness or strength. I feel cry and the whole you cry alone. Laugh and the whole world will laugh at you. So it does not have to be that when you cry, it is, a sign of weakness, because I feel that you're letting out your emotions. Some people, when they cry, they actually feel good about themselves. Some people make it a habit. So don't make it a habit to cry always at the drop of a hat for anything. Be strong, because in this today's world, being strong is what we have to do, and adapt ourselves to the environment and sustain. Therefore, I feel completely that crying is definitely not a weakness, depends upon the situation, the circumstances, and also I would definitely say that crying is not a weakness. It is also not a strength. It's also not strength. It is just a way of letting out your emotions. Thank you, and over to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you,
Shreya.
Nazneen. Thank you for that. Your take on it. And sometimes when we lose a dear one, and if you are the person is not crying about it, don't you get worried?
Yes, ma'am. Definitely, you'll get worried. But that's what I said. It's
Okay.
definitely
Thank
not
you, Nazneen.
always have to be,
Thank
a sign of weakness. It can be a sign of strength also.
Okay.
To let out your emotions.
Sure,
Because,
sure. I totally agree with you.
yes.
The
Thank you so
next
much.
topic. What has life taught you recently? What has life taught you recently? The topic goes to Teresa, Toastmaster DT and Teresa. Teresa, you there?
Yes, yes, I'm here.
Yes. What has life?
Topic Masters, Toastmaster Smita. I'm Teresa Martha, explaining my learnings in the life, that too recently. Yes, recently I have learned to listen patiently. All these years I was just hearing. And recently, when I was a president of Talk Magic Club, since past 6 months, I'm not hearing, I'm listening. Listening to all my club officers, my members, and even my mentees and people around, even at home. The reason why I'm telling is, all these years, I was acting that I was listening or hearing. But now I'm a face of the club. And because all people are at home, they all see me also. So when I listen to them, I really take action after listening to that. Earlier, I was listening from 1 year and leaving another year. But now, because I'm listening patiently, I don't bother about what comes next, who will tell what, but I will see to that the work is done. That is what Topic Master I learned, listening patiently. That is what happened recently. Over to you, Topic Master, Toastmaster Smita.
Thank you, Teresa. I agree with you. You had a wonderful, what is the number? I forgot, but you had a
400
successful,
meeting.
yes, 400. Is it? We had a successful meeting for your club, and I could see how well it was conducted. The next topic, what do you have that you cannot live with? What do you have that you cannot live with? The topic goes to Rita. Toastmaster Rita, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Could you just repeat the topic?
What do you have that you cannot live without it?
Good evening and a very happy new year. What do I have that I cannot live with? Yes, I have my one quality of straightforwardness and direct. So sometimes everybody cannot take what you speak. Sometimes I try to control myself, not to be a passive listener. But then again, the truth comes out and I'm there. And I know that people do not like things thrown up at their face or tell them directly what I have to say. So this is one quality sometimes I feel is not very good. And if I try to avoid this quality, I think I can live better without it, because everybody is not ready to hear what you've got to tell them at their face. This causes a lot of problems in life. And people have been telling me on and I go, just ignore. But again, that trait comes out, and I decided that I have to live with it. Can't do anything else. Over to you, Smita. And thank you.
Rita. And that's why we have all chosen Toastmasters. We want to be better communicators. So definitely you'll get over and we'll move forward.
Yes.
What is the next topic? What is the greatest peer pressure you have ever felt? What is the greatest peer pressure you have ever felt? Topic goes to Srini Babu. Are you there?
Yes, madam. Can you repeat again? What is the
greatest peer pressure you have ever felt?
Yeah. Good evening, dear Toastmasters and brilliant guests. So sometimes, most of the time, we are so committed and give our best. That is in regular way. But in sometimes what happened, even though we committed, we may not give our best, and you feel yourself so miserable. How to show my face to my manager? I didn't give my best. But once you reach your manager and you explain your problem, then my manager said, "That's fine. I know what you are, and this is what happened. This is what happens sometimes, and we will work together. You don't worry about it." And dear Toastmasters, these are the words I hear from my manager recently. Uh, Before going to my manager, I felt really so uncomfortable. I messed up something because I'm away. And by somehow my manager came to know. And I never expected these words. He's a little goal oriented. He want only output. He never cares what is happened, why it is happened. But this is the first time I hear from him. I felt so delighted after listening to him. My uh, my opinion is, instead of burning ourselves, better to go and share. Not because of some situations, people may be miserable, but most of are very friendly, like my manager. Yeah, what him, ma'am?
Thank you, Srini. Thank you for that. The next topic will be, what's the best part of growing older? What's the best part of growing older? The topic goes to Toastmaster Srijit.
Hello. Good evening, Toastmasters and Madam Table Topic Master. The best part of growing old. uh, Maybe you are realizing yourself better. Maybe all the experience you gain, with that you understand yourself, and you will be searching what is the what is the purpose of your life. And if you can find that, I think it will be a lifetime achievement, because these many years, every year some experience will come to you, and mm, you you have to relate to it. So how best you can put it your experience. For that, you have to grow old, right? Once you grow old, you gain more and more experience, and which you can use it for betterment of yourself and others around you, which will surely make your life worth living your life worth. Yeah. Thank you so much for this topic, man.
Thank you, Srijit. Yes, as we grow older, we fall, get up, and then move forward more and more and more. I think so. So thank you for that. Yes, the next topic will be, what lifts your spirit when life lets you down? What lifts your spirit when life lets you down? The topic goes to Toastmaster Vaidyanathan. Are you there? Toastmaster Vaidyanathan?
No, he's not here.
Okay. I'll move to Hannah. Toastmaster Hannah.
Hi, Smita. If you can please repeat the topic.
What lifts your spirits when life lets you down?
what lifts my thank you so much, Smita, for that topic. A very happy new year to all my fellow Toastmasters. What lifts my spirit when things go wrong is the attitude of persistence and and I think of hope as well. To know that, to have that hope that things will become better, whatever it is, it will come to pass. So that's the attitude that helps me move on time in and time again. I'll give you an example. When I was shifted to another department, I thought that I will not be able to handle it at all because it was something completely new. But then I had that hope that whatever it is, if it has come to me, if it has come my way, I will be able to handle it. Otherwise, it wouldn't have come to me. That opportunity wouldn't have come to me. So I've taken it up as a challenge. It is challenging, but I've taken it up with that hope that I will be able to achieve, give it my best, come what may. And the rest, the result is that's not for me to decide. So the hope is what keeps me going. Yes, over to you, table topic master Smita.
Uh, Thank you, Anna. And Toastmasters, did you notice that she just used the prep way of doing it? Point, reason, example, and back to the point. What wonderful way to stop the session. Thank you all. Thank you everybody who participated. Let us all give them a big round of applause. Everyone spoke so well. Thank you so much. And that's will be the end of table topic session. Over to you, Alok.
Thanks a lot, Toastmaster Smita, for conducting this session for us today. Shabri, do we have the link on the group yet? Yes, I think it's already there. Like I was saying, thanks a lot, Smita. I'm sure you brought out that little bit about each of us by making this topic relevant to us. And that's a wonderful day to start the new year. Wonderful way to start the new year. And when I look at the number of participants today, we have about 29 participants. It was almost like sitting around a campfire, each of us sharing that little bit about ourselves and just getting to know each other better. So it was really well done. Thanks a lot for that. And there is now some time for us to get back to voting for the best table topic speaker for the day. The passcode remains the same, 7845. So please do cast your vote. We have about 30 seconds for that. Some crackers in the background. No, I didn't arrange for that. With that, like I said earlier, we've had education and entertainment. Now it's time to move on to some enlightenment. I would request distinguished Toastmaster Rajdeep Manwani to please kick off the general evaluation session for the evening, please.
Thank you so much, Alok, for handing me over the meeting. So fellow Toastmasters, Toastmaster of the day, and everybody who's present here. There's a beautiful saying which I had read when I was young. It said, for the want of a horseshoe, a horse was lost. For the want of a horse, a soldier was lost. For the want of a soldier, the battle was lost. For the want of the battle, the war was lost. And because the war was lost, the kingdom was lost. But it all started with a small horseshoe. As a general evaluator, my role is to see where that horseshoe is missing and to try and fix that horseshoe in that cog of the meeting so that we can run smoothly and win the battle, the war, and become the best version of ourselves. So thank you so much, Alok. So let's see how the meeting went today. We had the first meeting of the term, and it's such a privilege to be the general evaluator for the first meeting of the term. And we started off with our new Sergeant at Arms, Shabri Shankar. And Shabri Shankar did a very good job. He made us take a pledge of what we should do for the next year. He kept us engaged and he introduced the president in the way he does best in his own conversational tone on what his personal experience. And the best thing about Shabri is he got such a fluent language and so much of conversational skill that you feel that he's speaking to each one of us. So great job, Shabri. Just a few observations, Shabri. One, you started off by telling what the last year has been, Spain without the S, and it's a pain, and you talked about some personal struggles and something which happened wrong in your life. What I feel as a sergeant at arms is you can bring these things in the meeting, but don't bring it at the beginning, because at the beginning itself you're thinking of pain. Start off with that excitement. We are all great to have this new year. The pain has passed, the beauty remains. That's a beautiful saying, right? So it's all gone, finished. What's happened in the past is over. Now you have a new beginning, you have a new year. So start off with more optimism rather than the little pessimism which you brought in. And then come back to these things which you have come over. So it would make a big difference. Great job. And I also thought, I just wanted to consult with the timer. George, how much time did Shabri take? George, are you there, the timer?
Yeah, yes, sir.
How much time did Shabri take?
It's 2 minutes 58 seconds.
Yeah, that's nearly 3 minutes, Shabri. So I feel what happens is when you are speaking so much about the topic, the president doesn't get enough time to speak about the topic as much as he should be. So I think so a sergeant at arms should quickly get on to it. The maximum time I think so a sergeant at arms should take 1.5 to 2 minutes. So just be a little careful about that, where you have to complete the introduction and the introduction of the topic and also give the ground rules. So just be a little careful about the time. But otherwise, Shabri, you've started off new. It's a fresh beginning for you. You have done a great job and you always mesmerize us with the way you speak. So please give Shabri Shankar a big round of applause.
Thank you.
Next, we had our President Ayyappa, and Ayyappa must be really a tired man. He's spoken 26 times in the last term, and then again he has to start all over again. My God, Ayyappa, you are a double DTM. You should be getting, I don't know, how many triple crowns, because you keep speaking term after term. So you gave a good insight about what you do to detach from all the past events, and you think of your positivity. Say a nice funny story to yourself and smile when you're sleeping off, and when you get up you think of a positive thought and then wait for 5 minutes before getting out of bed. Good tips, good insights into it. What I felt was you connected the topic, wake up with the determination, sleep. What I feel is that sometimes when you're talking on such topics, we get a little preachy. We say, okay, you have to do this, you have to do this, we have to do this. So when you said, I thought of a nice funny story, might we could have said a small funny story, might be of 2 or 3 lines, and then entertain the audience a little bit, and that would have added more depth to your presidential address. So think of adding an anecdote. You've been doing it a good job. So just add that little story or a little anecdote or something interesting, some interesting tidbit, so that it doesn't sound too much of a preaching sermon, but it adds more gusto to what you're actually saying, and it gives credibility and depth to your speech. But otherwise, Ayyappa, for carrying the club for the last 26 weeks and then again taking over the responsibility for the next 26 weeks, great job, Ayyappa. Please give him a big round of applause. Then we had a secretary for the first time, Kamlesh. Kamlesh, great. He tried to add a little variety. And the best thing about any position which you take up is every person who takes up a job actually tries to put his own flavor. And Kamlesh is one such person. He's very, very committed to the job as a treasurer, and he's a very, very committed Toastmaster. And today you saw he put in his effort to see that the meetings of the previous meeting are read out in a way which makes it a little interesting. Just Kamlesh, try and make it a little more crisp, because if you go through every single person who won an award, you might lose the attention of the audience after a little bit of time. So make it crisp. You're doing a great job. Continue the way you're doing it, but just make it a little shorter, a little more crisper, so that, let's say, the whole thing should get over in 1.5 minutes, so that it doesn't eat into the time, as well as you give the gist of the meeting. So Just keep it like that. Make those interesting tidbits going, but just make it a little shorter and crisper. That's what I have to say. So please give a big round of applause to Kamlesh. Fantastic job, Kamlesh. Then we had the lion of our club, Alok Simha. Simha, I don't know. Alok is what? Alok is the world lion. So Alok, fantastic job. I think so. It's always a pleasure listening to you. When you take over some role, you do it with so much of enthusiasm. And I know you've called me up 2 times from yesterday. You've been collecting data, and for you, the general evaluator changed at the last moment. One speaker changed at the last moment, so you had to readjust your plans. But trust me, Alok has been working on this for the past 3 or 4 days. In fact, I asked him. And the best part about Alok is, usually what happens is Toastmasters get into the rut of asking the same question to every single person in the meeting, and then it becomes so boring. But Alok did something beautiful. He asked different questions to different people so that there is no monotony in the whole system. So he had a little variety. For somebody, he asked, what do you want to leave behind from 2020? What did you learn from 2020? What do you plan to do the next year? He asked me a different question. He asked every person a different question. Some of them were repetitive, but others were different, so that we didn't feel the monotony. And he also strung the participants very beautifully. Once a participant finishes, he will connect to the next participant. So he said, like, Varsha, you are not only good at singing, but now we got the philosophical discourse. So he was connecting beautifully between each part of the meeting. A great connection work, great homework as a Toastmaster, and more brilliantly trying to bring out something more into your Toastmasters role. Great job done. Now, Alok, if I were to offer a suggestion, you spoke really well. You said you are like Amir Khan Gajni. There was a movie Gajni, no? Everybody remembers that short-term memory loss. This fellow had a long-term memory loss for 6 months, but that's okay. Very nice. But I wanted you to be Singham rather than Gajni. Why Singham? Because first your name is Alok Simha. The second is, sometimes the energy of the meeting tends to drop. And at that time, Alok, you should put an effort. Like suppose after the second speech or the third speech, when you feel that things are going a little ordinarily, and they might be pump up the audience, tell some story, crack some joke, tell, okay, all of y'all, I know y'all are wearing pajamas, so please stand up. Something like that. So that there is a little bit of energy which is brought into the meeting. So whenever you feel the energy drop a little bit, you have to pull up the energy of the meeting, which I felt you should have done. But otherwise, a great job, great introductions, fantastic work as a Toastmaster, and think so. We are privileged to have you as the Toastmaster for the first meeting of this term. So please give a big round of applause to Alok Simha. Okay. Next, we had our prepared speeches, and our first speech was by two gods, Raghavendra Swami, and he was evaluated by another Manjunatha Swami. So let's call the second god, Manjunatha Swami, to evaluate the first god, Raghavendra Swami. Yeah.
Namaskara, Swami.
Namaskara, Swami Manjunatha. Actually, in our school, we used to have a joke. What is the opposite of Manjunatha Swami?
Don't say it.
Manjunatha did not see me. Okay, so that's a PJ, but anyway, you continue. Yeah.
A very good evening, fellow Toastmasters and esteemed guests. Raghavendra, Toastmaster Raghavendra started with a bang. Do you agree with me? He did a great job. The speech is a great start to your Toastmasters journey. A very warm welcome to the Toastmasters Club, Toastmaster Raghavendra. So I'm going to quickly share my screen. Please let me know if you can see it, and then we'll take it from there. Like right now. Is that visible? Just give me a thumbs up or type Y.
Yes, it's visible.
Excellent.
Manjunath visible.
Thank you, sir. So here are a couple of things. Keeping the guidelines in mind, I've broken it down into the things that you excelled at, Toastmaster Raghavendra, and some areas of improvement. All right, let's get started. What did you excel at? Number one, I found that there was clarity of speech. Whatever you wanted to say was communicated clearly. I did not have a problem with understanding what you wanted to say. Okay. Number two, there was vocal variety, tone, speed, and volume. Great packaging. I found it very easy to follow what you said. Great work. Continue doing that. Now, there are a couple of areas of improvement, if I may. This is number one. Have eye contact. Extremely important. If you really want to have a connect with your audience, having eye contact is crucial. Unfortunately, the camera was placed somewhere below your eye level, and because of that, we couldn't really see your eyes, right? That was a drawback. So have the camera at the eye level. That way, you see there's that connection. That's number one. Number two, area of improvement is, why did you join Bangalore Toastmasters Club, or any Toastmasters Club for that matter? Your desire should have been clear in this project, right? With the speech, you should have clearly told what is your desire to become a better public speaker and a better leader. What drove you? Those are the two areas of improvement. Some more positives I found. Number one is that, give me a second, sorry. Yeah. Yeah, this is what happens, right? Let's keep this closed. Okay, so I found a great sense of humor being injected, and your hand gestures were all great. And that shows that you were confident in the way you presented yourself. You're absolutely comfortable with your speech, which is great. So here are a couple of challenges. Challenge number one, I challenge you to understand the guidelines of your speech and structure your speech that way, especially, like I told you, what was the driving reason behind why you wanted to join the Toastmasters Club? What is that one reason? That is a part of this guideline for this speech. Number two, have a call to action. Every speech ideally should have a call to action. So I challenge you again, Toastmaster Raghavendra, to have a call to action at the end of the speech. Overall, it was a great start, a speech that I believe is your first step towards a great long journey at Toastmasters Club. I wish you all the best. Thank you for the opportunity. Over to you, General Evaluator BTM Rajdeep sir.
Thank you so much, Raghavendra. I thought you did a great job, very clear, and also you added a little bit of humor. What I suggest, Raghavendra, was that you were quite quick, when you were speaking. Might be when you crack a joke, when you collaborate with your wife, I always leave the decision to her. Might be leave a little pause over there so that the joke sinks in. So that was one thing, Raghavendra, but I think so you did a very, very good job. And Manjunath, you preparing PPTs in the spur of a moment is amazing. No wonder you're a computer technocrat. But I didn't understand, Manjunath, what call for action will he give when he's doing an icebreaker? What are you challenging him to do? What you'll say, tell everybody, hey, I call you all to come to my house and eat idli dosa. Whatever. I don't know. What call for action can you do in an icebreaker? I'm not very sure about that. Raghavendra, don't take that seriously. Correct or no? Understand? Might be he wants some action with you, whatever it is, but leave that to that. Correct? So, Raghavendra, great job. So, from the gods.
Thank you, Manjunath.
Thank you, Raghavendra. From the gods, let's come down to earth and let's go to the battlefield. And we have our next speaker, Draupadi. No, I'm sorry, Varsha. So, to evaluate Varsha, we have Abhay Kothari.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters guests, Mr. General Evaluator, and Varsha. Very good evening to you again specifically. Reading the Mahabharata itself is a feat that I haven't been able to achieve. So you doing it and deriving meaning out of that gold mine of knowledge that has been left as a gift for us, that itself for me is the best part of your speech, Varsha. Now, how you used this gold mine of knowledge to solve problems or to enhance your knowledge or expand your horizon, this is probably the best part of how you interpret the Mahabharata in your own way. You were very sensitive to the audience despite being sick today. I know that you were sick. I could even see it from your face and your expressions that you were not your usual self. You were sick and you were sensitive to the audience. You did not let down the club. You did not let down yourself. You came here and you delivered this speech as prepared. So kudos to you for that. And you also translated each of the Sanskrit phrases that you said into English so that people who are not aware get aware of what you want to say. So that's a really great point, Varsha. You had good body language because we could see your entire frame in the way you had positioned the camera. You had good voice modulation, pace, eye contact, were apt. You even showed a good amount of comfort level when you were delivering this speech, just like always. So these were things that were very well done. I believe the previous feedback that you shared with me was that you had to do an audio video check before you begin a speech, and you did that this time, and you also placed the camera very well, positioned it very nicely. So that was really well done. Uh, Now, if I come to the 3 points that really struck me, 2 points that really struck me was one about audience awareness and that of audience interest. When you're taking up such a huge or such a complicated topic such as Nimitta Matram Savya Sachin, which is one of the key phrases in the Mahabharata and some ancient Sanskrit texts, it becomes important that the audience becomes aware of what you're saying. And what I thought was that was the key focus point of your speech. That was the laser focus of your speech. When you wanted to go on with your speech, you promised that you would tell 5 giveaways in your that you got from the Mahabharata, and I could only follow 2. That is being non-judgmental and being well known if you're right. So these are the 2 things that I found placed in your speech, which hampered the laser focus of your speech. And the second point that I thought, Varsha, was something that Manjunath just told me. I just picked this up from Manjunath, was a call to action. How you use this knowledge from the Mahabharata and what you could give us to do as a call to action. That I thought could really enhance the value of your speech to the next level. Varsha, I have only one small story that I had read before, was if there's a fire, you can run and save yourself, and you can leave some other people who are in the fire to die. But you can also take a bucket, you could also fill a glass. But if you don't have that, you could also use a spoon. Each of us has a spoon. So each of us, even being a dot, can really contribute to something around us which is really great and make the whole place better. I believe that's the message I take away from your speech, Varsha. Over to you, Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you, Abhay. I think so. Everybody is obsessed with this call for action. And I think so, Darsha, you did a call for action where you said the greatest message for me from the Mahabharata was humanity and kindness. Now, I don't know how to teach a person to be kind with a spoon or a bucket or a thing. If you're kind, right? So you did, that message was there, you taught them. But what Abhay said was very, very right, Varsha. When he said 5 takeaways, we could figure out only 1, 2, or 3. Might be you can say the first takeaway was this, the second takeaway was this, so that it becomes more focused, as he said. But otherwise, a great speech and a great evaluation. Please give them both a big round of applause. Excellent. Okay. Yeah. Third, we had the most loved person of our club. We almost had a personality contest when Smita Roshi announced, and we heard his name again and again. So the founder member, Robinson D'Souza, who's been evaluated by Shreyas Srinivasan. Shreyas. Yeah.
Thank you, Rajdeep sir. Good evening to all the wonderful people at BTMC today, and Robinson in particular. With here are my initial impressions first. With a lot of experience comes a lot of ease, and Toastmaster Robinson, I think that was really evident today in your speech, mainly because there was impeccable clarity, the gestures were awesome, and you had awesome audience awareness, and people were glued to the screen continuously waiting to hear what is going to happen next. And the way you pipe the interest in your speech was phenomenal. Having said that, let me come to the main evaluation of your speech. This project in particular was a way of a tribute to the mentor or a person who helped you shape your life in some way or the other, and I think you did a phenomenal job at that. And if your mentor was here, or if he hears this, I think his heart would swell in pride. And yeah, because from the very first sentence you uttered to the very last you made, the impressions of all the listeners will be everlasting. To be frank, from the moment you reached the employment exchange to the first time you met your mentor, Mr. Mallikarjun, until the end, where you reached his position and then taking it over. There were loads of challenges that you mentioned and you overcame, and that added a depth in the growth of you as a protege. From the story of you as a protege to a professional came to a full circle when you became the law secretariat holding the same post as your mentor. And that actually added a variety and a good climax or a conclusion to your story, which was which made it a pleasing speech to listen to. However, if I were to give you a bit of feedback on the speech, I feel that your speech was a riveting trailer for an Oscar-worthy film that is yet to be released. Simply because you, as a phenomenal storyteller, had a lot of things to cover in that 5 to 7 minutes of time, and I felt like there were a lot of things that you spoke about, which actually removed a bit of information from those particular things which we as the audience would have liked to hear more about. For example, if you were the if since you being the hero of your film and your mentor being the guiding light, we could say that we would have wanted to listen. We would have wanted to know more about how that guiding light would have helped you uncover the dragon that you were going to fight and then overcome it successfully. So that I think was a bit missing. But having said that, your speech was phenomenal. And if I were to give a final verdict, I would say you being the oldest member of this BTMC organization, your actions actually expresses your priorities, and your actions have always been to see the best of the people who don't see that particular best qualities in themselves. And that is why, like Toastmaster Rajdeep said, you are the most liked person at BTMC. Having said that, it was an amazing speech and would like to see a bigger Oscar-worthy movie of yours in the same lines to hear more of these stories and interactions with your mentor. Thank you.
Shreyas, excellent. Whatever you do to Muskar Robinson, sir, he's already Muskard enough. So you did a great job in giving so many good points, so many good points. Even the point where you had to improve, you put it in such a way that it looked like it was a good point. Very good, Shreyas. Keep it up. You should become a PR manager. Okay. But Robinson, sir, since I am a general evaluator, I have to give you some critical feedback. There were two objectives of the speech. One was to speak about the importance of mentoring. So that I thought wasn't covered. Second, experience of you as a prodigy. Now, what I thought is, and Shreyas told it in a very nice way, but I will tell it a little bluntly. 7 minutes, 5 to 6 minutes was about your life. Only 1 minute was what one statement the mentor made and about he keeping in touch. So here you have to bring out more about the mentor. Might be talk about him, how he was as a person. He was strict. Might be what he did other than writing to you those letters. So we had more about you rather than the mentor. So I thought what Shreyas told, he told it in a very nice way. It was a trailer. So we needed, let's say out of 7 minutes, you can speak 3.5 minutes about yourself, 3.5 minutes about the mentor. So, and then speak about the importance of mentoring. And this feedback I'm giving specifically because Robinson sir rang me up and told me, Rajdeep, find out something which I need to improve upon. So that's the greatness of the man. So thank you so much, Robinson sir, for giving me the liberty. And that's the beauty of the man. That's why we like him so much, because he always is wanting to improve, whatever be his age. And thank you, Shreyas, for doing a great job. So give them both a big round of applause. Okay. Last but not the least, we had Shreyas Johan raising a toast for our president, and to evaluate him, we have Srini Babu, the area director.
Thank you so much, sir, Rajdeep, sir, for introducing me. And once again, good evening, my dear Toastmasters and brilliant guests, and my dear target speaker, Shreyas in particular. What an amazing speech. This speech is very well delivered with very good content, which is very appropriate to this project. There are so many areas you excelled, I want to highlight few of them. First one is, you dress like a gentleman and ready with the toast, and you bang on to the speech. Very well done. And second thing, the selection of the your target person, our beloved president, and already we all witnessed the way he done in the last term. Very well selection, and the main thing is you highlighted the what are the areas and what are the roles he done already, and why he's motivated, and why the way he helped you in the ISC contest, everything you consolidate in the body. One of the greatest strength you have is very fluent language, very good usages. I was a few words are like very uh, very good to hear from you. Very well done, Shreyas. And all and all, this is a very good package. And in my view, what are the things we can add to make this greatest package? First one is, once you start the speech, immediately I'm raising the toast, this so and so person. Instead of that, if you keep little suspense, this person impacted so and so. This is what I started doing because of this personality. Do you know who is this personality? He is none other than our beloved president Ayappa. If you bring some suspense, the audience will be hooked, would have hooked more. And second thing is, this is raising a toast. I'm expecting something. You will be in the party mode and pleasant and relaxed. I saw some little nervous during the speech. Maybe that emotions, maybe you would have little avoided. And third one is, at the end of the speech, while saying the thank you, Ayappa. These are the things I learned. Definitely, I'm going to do this in my upcoming life. Something you would have. What is your next? What you are going to do by using this experience? You would have add something like this. But all in all, uh, for this project, you've done a fabulous job and you passed this project with your flying colors. I'm looking forward for upcoming project soon. Wish you all the best for your future speeches. Over to you, DTM Rasdeep Manwani sir.
Fantastic, Srini Babu covered all the points. Riyas, I think so. You did a good job of raising a toast, and might be, I thought, because you're a poet, you might have composed a few lines on our president. That would have been even more interesting. Dear Mr. Ayappa, President, in the last term you left a dent. I hope you construct a tent. Something like that. Okay, whatever. Correct? So, because you are a poet, I thought I was expecting something, but doesn't matter, Shreyas. A good job done, and Srini Babu also a very, very good job done. And then we came to the table topics, which was so very interesting. And we had our vivacious maths teacher, Smita Roshi. Fantastic job. But before we talk about Smita Roshi, let's talk about some of the most interesting table topics I've heard for a long time. Zareen George, wow, love yourself. And it's so rightly said, if you don't love yourself, you can't expect your neighbor's son to love you. So Zareen, you will definitely get somebody. Don't worry. And then we had Teresa. For the first time in my life, I'm listening. I pity your husband. All these years, we were talking. Now somebody, you started listening, Teresa. Wonderful job. I think so, at least better late than never. And then we had Ashish, who was so happy. He was giggling away. My God, in the corona, I got married. Ashish, pandemic will go away, but this pandemic of your life will never go away. So don't have to feel so excited now. My God, he was so thrilled. Correct? 9 months you're sitting with your wife. Now you realize afterwards. Okay, but good job done. All of the table topics persons did a fantastic job. And now coming to Smita. Smita, I think so. You epitomize the cigarette slogan of Virginia Slim. Virginia Slim was a cigarette brand for women, and the slogan was, "You've come a long way, baby." And I think so. You really have come from the person whom I knew who used to never be so good at connecting. You connected each table topic beautifully. And all the table topics were not so tough, not so easy. So it gave ample opportunity for people to exercise. And after each person spoke, you gave them something to talk home about. And even when you introduced it, you gave the prep technique. You spoke about table topics. I think so, Smita, you've really done an amazing job. But there are two things which I need you to improve on. One, Srini Babu is an evaluator and he's already getting an opportunity to speak. So please don't call people who have already. So Srini Babu got two opportunities, and might be a person like Priyanka, who's a member of our club and who's come all the way and she's sitting. She didn't get an opportunity to speak. Might be she could have got to speak, right? So don't give double opportunities. Second, which I think, always be aware who's there so that you don't. Second thing is, in the middle there was a nice entertainment which happened when Nazmeen spoke about, I don't think crying is a strength or a weakness, and then you thought crying is a strength and you argued with her. You said no, and she argued back. My God, I wanted you all both to fight, but thank God that didn't go on. Smita, you did a good job. Now I understand who wins the fights in Nazmeen's house. They came to Nazmeen, we are all going to be scared of you, and Smita, good you backed off. Otherwise, this argument would have gone for a long. Anyway, next time I am table topics, I'm going to put you all against each other. Crying, one for crying, one for laughing. Okay, whatever it is. But anyway, besides those two small glitches, I think so you all did a great job. And now we come to the most interesting part, the reports. So let me call upon the timer, Mr. And before that, I think so you all will have to also vote for the best evaluator. So please, the link might have been sent to you. Have you sent it, Shabri? For the best evaluator?
Yes, sir, it is sent.
Okay. And remember the code 7845. Next time, keep the code a little easy, no? Right? Keep it a little easy. Keep it 10101 or something, 1st January. Correct or no? What is the 7845? Some Vastu is going on, Ayappa? No.
Sure, sir, take care.
Okay. Okay.
It's the first 4 digits on the numeric pad on the laptop.
Oh, wonderful. That's great general knowledge, but it doesn't strike me as something. Now I came to know. Very good. 7845. But otherwise, 0101 is intelligent. Okay, better. Okay, now coming to the tag team, we have George.
Thank you, sir. Good evening, everyone, again. So, just on December 27th, I finished off decade of my marriage anniversary. And after being a timer
Everybody
today, I
speaking
just
about the
started
marriage today. Very good. George, keep it up. Now, do give the time report quickly. We are running out of time.
Yeah.
With marriage in your next speech. Okay.
Yeah. So why I'm saying is around 43,800 hours I spent, and I was fortunately I was not a timer there.
Oh my
So
God.
yeah, it was a pleasure today to be a timer. So most of the speeches I hit the bullseye. Like coming to the prepared speech, Sampath has taken 5 minutes, Varsha has taken 6 minutes 55 seconds, Robinson sir has taken 6 minutes 53, and Shreyas has taken 2 minutes 37. Coming to the table topics, only 2 were outliers. Ashish was 53 seconds, less than 1 minute. Srinu Babu was more than 1 minute 30 seconds. It was 1 minute 52 seconds. But otherwise, all in evaluation, all were within the time limit. So congratulations to all the speech crafters and role takers. Back to you, sir.
Thank you so much. Let's move on to Dhruv. Dhruv, you can take over for the R counter.
Yeah, so due to paucity of time, I will go to the double digit crutch words which I found during this meeting. So during table topic session, I had Toastmaster Amit, who spoke 24 hours, Toastmaster Shinu Babu 26 hours, and during evaluation session, Toastmaster Shinu Babu 20 hours. One more thing, during table topic session, Toastmaster Shrijit made 11 hours and 3 ums. That's it. Over to you, sir.
Okay, thank you so much. And next we have Rajana as the grammarian. Rajana, quick report.
Yes, sir. So the word of the day, assiduous, was used by 2 speakers, Robinson sir and Smitha ma'am. And here is the list of phrases that I liked: sense of possibility, prisoners of a past, beaming and blushing, he's all smiles, garden of mine, there are seeds and there are weeds. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Rajana. And finally, the listener, Akhilesh, keep it very quick, 2 or 3 questions to the maximum, Akhilesh.
Sure, Rajib sir. What is the name of Raghavendra's second kid? Sir?
Chastika. Chastika.
Yeah, correct. And Toastmaster CM Manjunath mentioned a quote in the meeting today. What was the quote and who authored that?
He quoted Frost, Robert Frost.
Robert Schuller.
Robert Schuller, and what was the quote? I'm just going to give you a tip. It included the words shape your future. Okay, I'm just going to say it. Let your hopes, not your hurts, shape your future. And the last question for the day is, Robinson sir went to Chikmagalur for employment exchange. Which year was that?
1969.
And who was it?
Amit.
Yeah. Back to you, Toastmaster Raj.
Thank you, Akhilesh, for keeping it short and sweet. Now you can vote for the best role taker from the tag team. Till then, till you'll vote, let me tell you an incident which happened so that you'll go home with the topic or the theme of the day. The other day I was taking class and my classes start at 8 online classes. So most of the students have just got up from bed and they're wiping their eyes. And so I thought I have to motivate them and wake up with determination. So I told them, students, why are you all doing this? You all are all yawning. I can hear your yawns. You all are, half of you all seem to be sleepy. And I told them, you all should learn to get up early to bed and early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy and wise. And there was this boy who from his sleep said, sir, that was in your time. In our time, early to bed and early to rise makes your girlfriend go out with other guys. So with that, let's wake up with determination, sleep with satisfaction, and back to Alok Sima.
Thanks a lot, Toastmaster Rajdi. It's always a privilege to listen to you, sir, and learn from you.
Yeah.
With that, thanks a lot, everyone, for attending the first meeting of the year. It's been a wonderful experience for me. Like Rajdeep sir also mentioned, it's a privilege to host the first meeting of the term and the new year. Back to our President Ayappa.
Okay. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Alok. You took us through the meeting so brilliantly. Let us unmute and give Toastmaster Alok a good round of applause.
Well done, Alok.
It was always a pleasure listening to you, Alok. Keep up that good work. Our heartfelt thanks to DTM Rajdeep for taking up the G role in the young movement and conducting it seamlessly. Let us give a good round of applause to DTM Rajdeep.
Thank you for the opportunity. The committee, I forgot to thank you all. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity the first term. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you, sir. It's a pleasure. Wonderful speeches and evaluations. Let us give a good round of applause to all the speakers, evaluators, and especially the tag team. Time to announce the awards. Best role taker goes to Distinguished Toastmaster Dr. Rajdeep. Best table topic speaker goes to Toastmaster Sureka. Best evaluator goes to Toastmaster Manjunath. Best speaker goes to Toastmaster Varsha. Best tag. Shabri, this is ready? Shabri?
Shabri is in Spain or in India?
Sorry. I sent you.
Okay. Best tag team player goes to Toastmaster Akhilesh. Congratulations to all the winners. Let us give a good round of applause to all the winners this evening. That's it for this evening. With that note, I adjourn the meeting number 1252. Take care. Good weekend. Good night. Thank you.
Good night, everyone. Have a
Good
nice
night,
weekend.
everyone. Have a nice
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Bye-bye.
Happy New Year. Hope this year gives us all
Good night,
what we
everyone.
deserve.
Good night, everyone.
Good night. Bye.
Bye.
Good night. Happy New Year.
Good night. Thank you.
Good night, ma'am. Happy New Year.
Good night, ma'am.
Epa, can you stop the recording?
Yes, 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 please.
No, I don't have the.
Why you're not a host? Huh?
No, not.